Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. Do you want to mention that parts of today's program are sponsored in part by Rich Club and Standard Supply. I'm going to go straight to our first guest, Kevin Suras. He's with a company called AppVance. And Kevin, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Kevin.
So you were voted Entrepreneur of the Year by whom?
Oh, that was Inc. Magazine. That was back in 2009. We was running a company called Serious Materials, and we redid all the windows on the Empire State Building, the New York Stock Exchange, and about 70,000 other buildings around the country, making them more energy efficient, about 3 or 4 times better than dual pane.
Oh, okay, very cool. Yeah, I'm very familiar. Not only are they more energy efficient, but they're far cheaper to install, obviously, than dual pane. It's really like film. They still have a lot of the same safety factors that you're hoping from double pane. They're actually brilliant. They're fantastic.
Yeah, there's some great technology in that space. We were a very large and successful company with 6 plants throughout the U.S. and Canada. But our investors chose to exit that space, and we sold off all of those plants to other companies. So that was then. But it was a great time. And you know, in 2009, small business, large business, everybody was suffering after 2007, 2008, especially with the recession. And we were out buying plants and putting people back to work. And that was just a great story. And I was really, really honored that Inc. Magazine chose me as Entrepreneur of the Year. It's not something you ask for. And in fact, I didn't know. Someone called me from an airport and said, you're on the front of a magazine. So it was as much a surprise to me as it was to anyone.
Very cool. Tell us about, the story we have running on you guys is, why does the Entrepreneur of the Year want to save your app? Tell us about that.
I guess app rhymes with something else. So I will tell you that what people are doing today, of course, we're all building mobile apps. Of course, we've got our websites as small businesses, and as larger businesses, you begin to build mobile apps, et cetera. And one of the largest app, if we want to call it failures or site failures, was healthcare.gov. Regardless of what side of the political aisle someone comes down on, the last thing you want is people going to sign up for something and they can't get on, or it's slow. And today, slow means anything more than about a second or two. You walk away and you say there's something wrong with this, and you rate it 1 star and you don't go back to it.
Yeah, by the way, the healthcare platform was so slow that by the time they got finished applying for their Obamacare, they needed to sign up for their Medicare. I mean, that's how slow. So, anyway, go ahead.
You know what? Nothing wrong with writing a few jokes in the morning as well. No, so the problem there was everybody can blame the government and this and that, and a lot of money was spent. But they had a subcontractor who also had a subcontractor. It was CGI had subcontracted with a group called QSSI, and QSSI in the end admitted we didn't test this for performance. We didn't have time to test it, and frankly, we're not experts on testing for performance. And AppVance develops technology that tests apps and sites and simulates before you launch how many users you think you have on. Now, if you're a small business and you're going to have 20 people on your site, it's not a big deal. But as you get larger and you could have thousands of people using your app at the same time or your site at the same time, the chance of you designing one that works is about 0. Unless you test it. And if the government couldn't do it spending $300 or $400 million, you're surely not going to do it spending $20,000 or whatever the number was you spent. So you really have to build in time to test these things and simulate them before you launch if you want to delight your customers.
Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. So tell us all that your company does.
So what we do is both technology and services that create simulated users before you put actual users on something. So if you were doing an app for the iPhone today, and you said, boy, I could have 10,000 people using this, wouldn't you want to know what it looks like when there's actually 10,000 people on it? So we put 10,000 fake people, they're avatars actually, that represent real people that use your app, but they use it in a prescribed way so that we can figure out where the bottlenecks are, where the issues are, and where the problems are. And this is something that businesses, they're not thinking about at all. But over the last few years, some have. So people like Pepsi and McKesson and 7-Eleven and Best Buy, who are our customers among many, many others, they are very worried about what people think of their app and their performance. Because if you go to Best Buy and it takes a few seconds after you click, I want that TV, and nothing comes back, you just go to another site and buy it there.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. No question about it. There seems like there's a real revolution going on. 15, 20 years ago when people were first getting websites, a website is all that mattered. Just get a website. All of a sudden you had what was until just a few years ago called the third screen, is now becoming the main screen. It's amazing how the mobile phone, the smartphone has exploded in importance. But early on, it was like, yeah, let's at least make it compatible for, the mobile device. And, but now it's like it's as, if not more important than what you find on a website.
Boy, that's exactly right. Now, when you test things, you want to test your websites, you want to test your mobile apps, you want to test all of them. But it is true, there are a lot of businesses today that are seeing far more traffic on their mobile site or mobile app than they are on their website. And that's just changed in the last year and a half. I just read the Mary Meeker report in the last week that said that picture sharing on mobile devices grew about 400% last year, and doing that on a web or a notebook computer or so didn't grow at all. So it just gives you an idea of the amount of traffic, and then people watching videos on their iPads or pad devices. So all of that has to be tested. Look, if you're the cable company, you're now shipping people video on their device. You better have tested that because, we all do the videos and they jitter and they don't come in right or they stall. And again, that's a performance problem that's absolutely becoming unacceptable to the clients, to the people, to the subscribers. And in a way, maybe Google did us a disservice because you type something in Google and the response rate is faster than your device can respond. It's always under 100 milliseconds. They have an answer for you, give or take. And so we're used to this instant response. So when you go to an app that wasn't tested, like healthcare.gov, and you're waiting minutes and minutes, and finally, the thing times out and says, sorry, we're busy.
Come back later. Come back for you, like I said, come back for your Medicare.
Yeah, it's funny because we've really gotten spoiled. We've gotten spoiled by things like Facebook and Twitter and Google that are extremely well tested and highly scalable. And now we expect everyone to be that way. And when it's not, we walk away and we find another vendor. And that's how people lose customers, and it's how they get one-star ratings today. So it's something that a lot of business owners haven't had to think about until recently. But if you're a large business, you are certainly thinking about protecting your brand. And if you're a smaller one, you also have to, go to your website and go to your apps if you're having them develop and say, hey, are these things responding really fast, faster than I can deal with it or not?
Kevin Shuras, he's with AppVance. That's AppVance.com. Thanks so much for sharing with us today.
You bet. Pleasure to be on your show.
When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here, it shows up over there at USDataReview.com, and this is The Price of Business.